All right, so buckle up, everyone, because today we're going deep, deep into the 90s NBA.
Oh, yeah. A golden era.
Golden era is right, and you know what we're going to be talking about, Shaq.
Of course, Shaq. Who else?
But here's the thing. We're not just going to, rehash the same old highlight reels.
No.
We're going beyond the championships.
Getting granular.
You're getting granular. This is about really understanding what made him such a dominant force. Like, why was Shaq so good?
Mm-hmm. And how he changed the game.
And how he changed the entire game of basketball. It's kind of like we're getting a courtside seat to basketball history, you know?
I like that. Courtside seats.
Front row seats to history. And lucky for us,
Very lucky.
we have this incredible excerpt from Shaquille O'Neal, Dominance and Impact in the 1990s NBA.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Really insightful stuff, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, just from that title alone, it sounds like we're going to be uncovering some really cool nuggets.
Yeah, for example, do you know Shaq almost had a quadruple double in the finals?
Wow.
I know, right? We're going to get into that.
Can't wait.
And we're going to talk about how his dominance actually led to a strategy that was literally called Hack-a-Shaq.
Oh, yeah. Intentional fouling.
Intentional fouling. Desperate times, man. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's rewind a bit.
Okay.
Because Shaq's journey, it doesn't start in the NBA.
He does not know.
It begins long before the draft down in Louisiana.
That's right. LSU.
LSU. Now, he wasn't just, messing around down there.
No, he was a standout. I mean, he won SEC Player of the Year twice.
Twice. I mean, that's just incredible.
Incredible, yeah.
And he also, I hear he led the NCAA in rebounds, A&D blocks.
Oh, yeah. Talk about a force of nature in the making.
Force of nature. That's a great way to put it. But what I'm curious about is, what were some of the key influences, that shaped his development early on? Like, who saw that potential and helped nurture it?
Well, got to give credit where credit's due. His stepfather, Philip Arthur Harrison, played a huge role. Instilled discipline, a love for the game, and, most importantly, exposed Shaq to the greats.
To the legends.
To the legends, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, wow. So he had those role models right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning. So, Shaq was already learning from the best, even before he hit the NBA.
That's incredible. Okay, so let's fast forward now. It's 1992.
Draft day.
And the Orlando Magic, they make Shaq the #1 pick. Do you remember the buzz surrounding him at the time?
Oh, yeah. The excitement was unreal. Everyone knew he was something special, like a once-in-a-generation type talent.
And did he live up to the hype?
Oh, he absolutely did. Rookie of the Year right out the gate, putting up some serious numbers. And you know what? Within just a few years, he was already leading the Magic to the NBA Finals.
The finals in 95. Against Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets.
Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
That must have been something else. Shaq going up against the Dream in the finals. I actually remember watching that series. What was it like from your perspective? What stood out?
Well, even though Olajuwon kind of, outplayed him in that series, Shaq still averaged over 28 points and 12 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
So he was already showing glimpses of that unstoppable force he would become.
Right. So then in 96, Shaq makes a huge move. He heads west to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Big move. For him and for free agency in general.
And that's when things really take off.
Oh, yeah. That's when the dynasty begins.
Dynasty begins because he joins forces with
the young Kobe Bryant.
Kobe. And together they formed
one of the most dynamic duos in NBA history.
Dynamic duos. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Three-peat. 3 straight NBA championships.
Three-peat.
Finals MVP awards, scoring titles. He even won the regular season MVP in 2000.
That's right. He won it all.
He was at the peak of his powers.
At the absolute peak. So how did he do it? What was it about Shaq that made him so unstoppable during this period?
Well, he was more than just bigger and stronger than everyone else.
Right.
He'd spent years honing his skills, and it was all coming together. His footwork, his agility for a guy his size. It was unbelievable.
I mean, he had that signature move, the Black Tornado. Break it down for us. What made that move so effective?
Okay, so picture this. You're guarding Shaq in the low post. He gets the ball, takes a drop step towards the baseline, spins towards the basket, and throws down a massive dunk, all in one fluid motion. It was power, speed, and finesse all in one. Almost impossible to defend, especially with his size and strength. Guys would try to body him up, but he'd just spin right past him.
Man, I bet that was pretty intimidating to face.
Oh, absolutely. And defensively, his presence alone changed the way opponents played. Yeah. Like, you did not want to go anywhere near the paint when Shaq was down there.
Right, because he was waiting to send your shot back to the bleachers.
Exactly. He was a defensive anchor, a true game changer on both ends of the court.
On both ends of the court. And speaking of game changers, we got to talk about Hack-a-Shaq.
Ah, yes. Intentional fouling.
Desperate times, man.
Desperate times. Tell me, why would teams resort to intentionally fouling him? I mean, isn't that like the opposite of good strategy?
Well, they knew Shaq struggled with the free throws.
Right, his Achilles heel.
Exactly. So the idea was to disrupt the flow of the game, send him to the line, hope he misses, and maybe gain a little advantage.
It's kind of a backhanded compliment, isn't it? Like, we literally have no other way to stop this guy, so let's just foul him and hope for the best.
Right. It was a controversial tactic.
Yeah.
But it just shows you how desperate teams were to find any way to slow him down.
They were willing to try anything. It's really a testament to his dominance.
Absolutely. Shaq forced teams to think outside the box, to come up with crazy strategies just to contain him.
So we've talked about Shaq's dominance, his signature moves, even the extreme strategies teams use trying to slow him down. Yeah, it's been a wild ride so far.
But now I want to explore how Shaq actually changed the game itself. Did his style of play force the NBA to evolve?
Oh, you're asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Because you see, Shaq's impact, it went way beyond just winning championships. He actually shifted the way the game was played. Like before Shaq, centers were often these big, lumbering players.
Yeah.
Effective, sure.
Right.
But not exactly known for their versatility.
Yeah, they were kind of like gentle giants down there in the paint.
Exactly. But Shaq, he was different. He had this crazy blend of size, strength, agility, A&D skill.
Right.
He could overpower you in the post, but he also had the footwork and finesse to make you look silly. He could face up and hit a jump hook. He could drive to the basket, with surprising quickness.
He was like the total package.
He was a complete offensive package.
All right.
And he forced teams to rethink how they defended the center position.
It's like he redefined what a dominant center could be.
Absolutely.
Did this lead to any specific changes in strategies? Like, did teams start looking for different types of players?
Well, one of the most notable changes was the rise of the stretch four.
Stretch four. Okay, I've heard that term before, but remind me, what exactly is a stretch four?
Essentially, it's a power forward who can shoot from the outside, especially three-pointers.
Okay.
So this stretches the defense, pulls the opposing center away from the basket.
Okay.
And you know why they did this? It was partly a response to Shaq's dominance in the paint.
I see. So instead of trying to outmuscle Shaq down low,
Right.
teams started trying to draw him away from the basket, make him chase guys around the perimeter.
Exactly. Make him cover more ground, maybe tire him out or, expose him defensively and on offense. Teams had to get more creative with their ball movement, find ways to get open shots against Shaq's, suffocating defense.
So Shaq's presence was almost like a catalyst for innovation.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Teams had to adapt, come up with new strategies, even change the types of players they were recruiting just to compete with him. That's a pretty amazing impact.
It's true. It's a testament to how his unique talent really challenged the conventional wisdom of the game.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit because you can't talk about Shaq without acknowledging his personality. The man was so charismatic, always entertaining.
Oh, for sure.
So what do you think about his impact beyond the court?
Well, I think Shaq transcended basketball. He was an entertainer, a personality, a brand. His charisma, his humor, it resonated with fans. And he used that platform to connect with people in a way few athletes ever have.
He had those iconic nicknames, the Big Diesel.
The Big Aristotle.
Superman. He even released rap albums.
Right.
And starred in movies.
He did it all.
And he wasn't afraid to just be himself, to embrace his personality. I think that's what made him so relatable and likable.
Yeah, his authenticity shone through. It made him a global icon.
A global icon, not just a basketball player. He was Shaq.
He was Shaq, a force of nature both on and off the court.
Speaking of iconic, let's dive into Shaq's stats for a second.
Okay, let's do it.
I mean, this man was a walking highlight reel.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the most mind-blowing numbers that stand out to you?
Well, where do we even begin? 4 NBA championships.
4.
3 finals MVP awards.
3.
A regular season MVP award. 15 All-Star selections.
15. That's insane.
Insane. And remember that game where he had 15 blocks?
15 blocks in one game.
15 blocks.
Yeah.
Against the New Jersey Nets in '93.
Oh, wow.
He owned the paint that night. And then there was that 53.18 rebound game against the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2000. Just, incredible displays of athleticism and dominance.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's have a little fun with a what-if scenario. What if Shaq had played in today's NBA?
Ooh, I like this.
With its emphasis on three-pointers and fast-paced offenses, how do you think his style of play would have translated?
That is a fascinating question. Imagine Shaq in a league dominated by small ball and perimeter shooting.
Right. It's hard to picture him launching threes, but then again, you never know.
You never know.
Maybe he would have developed a deadly Shaq bomb from beyond the arc. What do you think? Would he have adapted to the modern game? Or would his style of play have been overshadowed?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's hard to say for sure, but I guess that's the beauty of these what-ifs.
Right.
It keeps the conversation going.
It keeps us thinking.
Keeps us thinking.
It's hard to imagine him pulling up for threes, but you never know.
You never know. Maybe he would have.
Maybe.
Shaq was known for his work ethic,
Yeah.
always pushing himself to get better.
Always improving.
So who knows? Maybe he would have embraced the three-point revolution.
Maybe.
Or maybe he would have just doubled down on his strengths.
Yeah.
Become an even more unstoppable force in the paint.
You know what? Either way, it would have been incredible to watch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's fun to think about these hypotheticals.
it is.
But even without them, Shaq's legacy, it's undeniable.
Absolutely. He left a mark on the NBA. And pop culture, I mean.
He was bigger than basketball, in a way.
He really was.
It wasn't just about his talent, It was the work ethic, the personality, the connection he had with fans all over the world.
Right. He had that it factor.
Yeah.
That just transcended the sport itself.
So as we start to wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what resonates with you most about Shaq's story? What stands out as his biggest contribution to basketball, and even beyond basketball?
What strikes me is how Shaq's story is really a testament to dedication and perseverance.
Yeah.
He wasn't just, gifted with natural talent. He worked his tail off to improve his skills, overcome his weaknesses.
He embraced his strengths, faced his challenges head on.
Exactly. Never stopped learning, never stopped evolving.
And he did it all with that smile. And that larger-than-life personality made him a fan favorite everywhere.
He showed us that greatness. It doesn't just come from talent. It comes from hard work, dedication, a genuine love for the game.
And maybe, just maybe, a little Shaq Fu magic doesn't hurt either.
Shaq Fu, yeah.
Well said. I think that's the perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Shaquille O'Neal.
It's been a pleasure.
Hopefully you learned something new today. Maybe even gained a deeper appreciation for the impact this one-of-a-kind player had on the game.
Yeah. One of a kind.
One of a kind. So until next time, keep exploring those what-ifs and keep that conversation going.
Yeah, keep it going. It really is hard to say, but, I guess that's the beauty of it all.
That's the beauty of sport, right?
Keeps you guessing, keeps the conversations going.
Exactly. And you know what? Even without those what-ifs, Shaq's legacy is undeniable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he left a mark on the NBA, on pop culture.
He really did. He was bigger than basketball, I think.
He transcended the sport.
He did. It wasn't just about his talent. It was the work ethic, the personality, that connection he had with fans all over the world.
You're right. It was that it factor. He just transcended the sport.
So as we wrap up our deep dive here, I'm curious, what resonates most with you about Shaq's story? What do you think was his biggest contribution to basketball and, beyond the sport itself?
What really stands out to me is that Shaq's story is a testament to dedication, and perseverance.
Yeah.
He wasn't just some guy who was blessed with natural talent. He actually worked incredibly hard to hone his skills, overcome his weaknesses.
He embraced those strengths, faced his challenges head on.
Exactly. Never stopped learning, always evolving his game.
And he did it all with a smile, with that larger-than-life personality.
He did, and it made him a fan favorite everywhere.
He showed us that greatness. It doesn't come from talent alone. It comes from hard work, dedication, and a genuine love for the game.
That's it. Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, a little Shaq Fu magic.
A little Shaq Fu never hurts.
Well said. I think that's the perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Shaquille O'Neal.
My pleasure.
I hope you learned something new today. And maybe, just maybe, being the deeper appreciation for the impact this one-of-a-kind player had on the game we love.
One of a kind, for sure.
One of a kind. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those what-ifs, and keep that conversation going.
Keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.